Act of 2010 has cleared it up. Kind of where are we now compared to where we were and where we need to be?
We are still living with the consequences of, a decade or so of poor policy starting, as you mentioned, with laws under Ronald Reagan, really that were bipartisan, though, I should say that most of the crime and drug legislation of the 80s and 90s was a bipartisan effort. Um, I mentioned earlier that 100-to-1 sentencing disparity between crack and powder cocaine, which we now acknowledge are the same exact substance. Under Obama in 2010, that was reduced to 18-to-1, but it still exists. That despite the fact that we know that this was the same substance, that it is the same substance, despite all that we know about our mass incarceration system and how many people we warehouse due to drug convictions, there wasn't enough political will, even in 2010, to eliminate it entirely. I think that there are lots of things that we need to do policy wise to repair the harm of the crack era. And I think that that eliminating the disparity in sentencing between crack and powder cocaine is a great first step. Next first steps would be continuing to fund harm reduction programs that distribute fentanyl test strips and the life-saving drug Narcan that can actually interrupt an overdose. That we owe it to the folks that we served poorly during the crack era to get it right this time, to eliminate, again, this dragnet that I talked about earlier that can only criminalize people who need help. We need to actually beef up a public health response in a way that could both end the opioid epidemic, but also prevent future drug epidemics.